The wedding hall was packed to the brim with guests. Every person belonging to the upper class was present today at Alexander Sterling's wedding. On the stage, the groom and bride were the center of everyone's attention. Standing in front, a girl watched the stage without blinking. She was Holly Andrews. The very picture of modesty. A beautiful soul. By nature, she was meant to be loved. But that love had been snatched away from her. Why? Because she was a poor man's daughter, and Alexander Alex Sterling was the only heir to a wealthy dynasty. His wedding had been arranged within their own elite circle, to Summer Sinclair. Summer was as beautiful as Holly, but extremely modern. Alex, however, liked girls like Holly, who hid their beauty behind 7 veils. He had already chosen Holly for his life's partner. But his father, Paul Sterling, imposed his will, forcing Alex to marry Summer. Why was Holly Andrews standing here? Come this way. Everyone is here. A cousin pulled her, and she finally looked away from the stage. What was done. Yes, she was poor, but wasn't she still from the noble's family? But Paul Sterling had rejected his own poor sister's daughter for his son, choosing his friend's daughter instead. His business would profit greatly from that alliance. Come on, you come too. Everyone is enjoying together, her cousin Nina called her to the dance floor. No, Nina, I don't know how to dance. Please, you go ahead. All the other cousins wore expensive, revealing clothes, not one had a stole. Meanwhile, Holly, in a full-sleeve lace outfit with a dupatta and a scarf covering her head, looked completely different from them. If you glanced around the entire hall, she was the only girl whose head was covered. Fed up with these artificial colors, her heart grew restless, and she started walking outside. Her gaze had only caught a single glimpse of her, and then she was gone. Alex felt he had made a terrible mistake. He had rejected a girl who was worthy of being loved and accepted a girl who didn't care about anyone. Summer was so arrogant she couldn't stand to look at anyone of lower status. Her style, her attitude, nothing matched Alex's thinking. But he was stuck with her now. He had to control himself. He turned to look at this beautiful girl who was now taking selfies with her cousins. Holly ran out of that suffocating atmosphere. It was dark everywhere, but the wedding hall was decorated with bright lights. She came to the road, glanced back at the lights for a moment, a single tear falling for her lost love. As she turned to flee, she almost collided with an oncoming bike. The rider braked hard. A part of the bike hit Holly, and she fell back. The man fell with the bike, skidding across the road and losing consciousness. Holly struggled to her feet. Her arm and leg were injured. Limping, she went to the unconscious man. He was wearing a helmet, which had rolled away. "Hello, mister? Are you okay?" She leaned over him. His eyes were closed, lying completely still on the road. Panicked, she leaned closer, putting her ear to his mouth to see if he was breathing, when suddenly the man opened his eyes. "You scared me," she said, startled. "You suddenly appeared in front of me, what was I supposed to do?" He took a deep breath, stood up perfectly fine, and extended his hand toward her. Holly glared at him and ignored his hand. She stood up on her own, limped over, and picked up her bag that had fallen nearby. "Do you need help?" he asked, picking up his bike. Holly shot him another glare, opened her bag, and looked at her phone. The battery was dead. She needed a cab to get home, and she really needed help right now, but she couldn't ask a stranger. Without a word, she limped forward. Seeing her limp, Julian Shaw bit his lip. "You're hurt, miss? Sit on the bike. I'll take you to the hospital." At that, she stopped. He rode his bike alongside her, trying to talk. "Thanks," she said sarcastically. "You're the one who gave me these injuries. That's enough help from you." "Hey, it was an accident. You appeared out of nowhere. I put my heavy bike on the line to save you. Look how much damage is done." He shook his head with feigned regret. "Don't think you can charge me for repairs. You were riding that bike like an airplane and hit me. Julian's lips curled into a smile. I am so sorry, Mississippi. All my fault. Please, just sit. I'll drop you wherever you say. I don't need any kind of help from you. And please, get out of my way, she said angrily. But Julian didn't give up. She had walked far from the wedding hall. On this long road, there were no cars or anyone else in sight. He couldn't just leave her alone. Miss, please listen to me. I'm a decent guy. Here's my ID card, my driver's license, and my bike papers. You can keep them all if you don't trust me. But please just get on the bike. It's very late, and I can't leave you here alone. Or call someone to pick you up. This time he sounded serious. That's advice, not an order. Now go, she said, stepping forward again. Julian stopped his bike and watched her go. Just then, a car pulled up beside her. Hey lady, come on, we'll drop you wherever you want. Two guys, who looked quite sleazy, were inside. Holly scoffed in anger. One of the guys got out and started towards her quickly. Before he could touch her, Julian's bike sped between them. Back off. Stay out, Julian growled, his eyes hard. We saw this girl first. Our claim is first, the guy said, eyeing Julian's stance. Holly's hair stood on end. She regretted coming out alone. If you value your safety, get out of here. She belongs to me. Just get out, Julian roared, his voice like an angry lion. If she's yours, why did you leave her alone? Can't handle her? Hand her over to us, the guy couldn't finish his sentence. Julian's fist connected with his jaw, and the man staggered. Julian parked his bike and landed a couple more punches. Hey, leave him, he'll die. The other guy jumped out and pulled Julian back. If you're not gone from here in 2 minutes, I swear I will kill you both. Julian grabbed the man's collar and shoved him back. The two thugs fled. Julian turned to Holly. She was a little scared of him now. He sat on his bike and glared at her. Will you sit down, or do I have to pick you up and put you on? His tone was very stern. I don't know how to sit on a bike, Holly stammered nervously. He clicked his tongue in annoyance. There's no other option. You'll have to adjust. Taking a deep breath, as if facing death, Holly carefully sat on the large bike, clutching her purse. Hold on tight, miss, he instructed over his shoulder, looking back. He looked so handsome. Don't give me instructions. I'm already very confused, she retorted, holding on behind her. You can hold me, he said, putting on his helmet. No. Never. You're a stranger. I can't touch you. Who's asking you to touch? I'm telling you to hold on, or you'll fall. Besides, this is an emergency. You can take my help in this situation. There's no malice in either of our intentions. We're not harming ourselves or anyone else. On that basis, Holly held on to his jacket, though she still felt awkward. Julian smiled at her innocence. Give me the address, he said a little louder. Holly, barely breathing, whispered her home address into his ear. Julian felt her breath on his skin and involuntarily shuddered. A while later, he dropped her off outside her house. Put some ointment on your wounds. And avoid going out alone at night. Not everyone is as decent as Julian Shaw. He held his helmet, preaching to her. Holly understood. Enough of the lecture. Now leave, she said rudely. Wait, he called from behind. At least tell me your name. Do I need to file a police report? A beautiful witch collided with me tonight, and I'm going back alive and well. So give me your name for good luck. Holly's cheeks flushed red at his words. Huzor, is that what you carry? Stones? He smiled softly and started to leave. Bye, beautiful witch, he said, putting his helmet back on, giving her one last look, and speeding away. He must be the crazy one, roaming around at night. Ghost. Ghoul, she muttered to herself and hurried inside. So late, Holly? What happened? Her mother, Sharon, saw her limping and got worried. Nothing, Mom. A small accident. Thankfully, I'm safe. What was the need to go? Forget those people. The richer they are, the more heartless. Sharon's eyes filled with tears. Holly had gone to see the wedding. Well, I buried all my emotions there. Now, a new Holly Andrews stands before you, Mom. We won't live here anymore. We'll move to another city, where we won't have to see their faces. She winced, straightening her leg. Forget them. I'll get the bandage. Sharon got up quickly. Holly closed her eyes. But she couldn't forget. What have you done? Alex was furious, soaked in water. He was in a deep sleep when someone dumped a whole jug of water on him. He sat up with a start, and saw Summer standing in front of him, pure rage on her face. He looked at her cluelessly, then at his own condition. He was drenched. Flicking his wet hair back, he glared at her. What is the meaning of this? Is this any way to wake someone up? He fumed, getting out of bed. I'm not waking you up. I'm punishing you for what you did, Summer said, chewing on every word. Alex could barely stop himself from killing her. Their first morning was this thrilling. What crime? And what punishment? The biggest punishment is you, whom Father has inflicted upon me for life. He gritted his teeth, shaking his clothes. Oh, so I'm a punishment? Then what did you want? Heaven in the form of Holly? She stepped closer, her nose flaring with anger. Don't you ever take Holly's name again, or I won't tolerate it. Got it? He started shaking her by the arms. For a moment, Summer's eyes welled up. Does it hurt? It hurt me too, when you made this mark here. If Holly is in your heart, then stay away from me. Got it? She showed him a red mark on her neck, furious. Alex paused, thinking. When and how did that happen? Don't bother sleeping in the bed with me anymore. Who knows what you thought I was in your sleep and did this? Stop the nonsense. I did no such thing, Alex cut her off sharply. So I'm lying? Look closely. It's your love bite. Oops, it's not a love bite. Because everything can happen between us, but love? Never. Impossible, she negated her own point. Alex's gaze kept going to the mark. He didn't remember being that close to her. Just then, there was a knock at the door, and both were startled. Summer headed for the door, but Alex grabbed her arm and pulled her back. Where are you going? Look at your condition. You're in your nightgown. Go change. Now. He frowned. How dare you touch me, she said, pulling her wrist free. And don't order me around. I'm Summer Sinclair. I've never let my own parents interfere. Who are you to command me? Her cold tone infuriated Alex. Someone was still banging on the door, but Alex didn't care. In the blink of an eye, he scooped Summer into his arms, opened the connecting glass door, and stepped outside, where the pool was. The head butler was at the main door, but Alex ignored him. Summer struggled in his arms like a fish. Without any regard, he threw her with a strong jolt into the cold pool water. She sank and surfaced, gasping, her hair plastered to her face. Alex stood at the edge, watching her. Now go outside in this condition. You look even cuter, he said sarcastically, arms crossed. He watched her pull herself out of the water, then turned and went back inside. I will kill you, Alexander Sterling. She hit the water in fury. She swam to the edge, got out, and sat on the side. Her entire nightgown was soaked. She took deep breaths, controlling her anger, refusing to let tears fall. She was Summer Sinclair, no weak girl. Set on revenge, she stood up and headed to the room. He came out of the bathroom, towel in hand, and looked at her. She stood completely silent. "Next time you want a fight, think about who you're dealing with," he said, putting the towel on a rack. Before he could place it around her neck, he stopped, seeing the mark on her neck. It was fading. He didn't dare touch it. "And yes, before I forget," he turned back, leaning into her ear. "Next time you make a bite, use waterproof lipstick. Then we'll decide if it's a love bite or just a heat bite." His lips brushed her earlobe. Summer's heart raced at 120 BPM. She stepped back, and he walked towards the dressing room with a sarcastic laugh. How cunning is this man? But I will have my revenge, she thought, glaring at the closed dressing room door. Scene, Holly's job interview. What are you saying? Are you in your right mind? Holly had come for a job interview, and the demand made her blood boil. What's wrong with it? Everyone wants to make quick money these days. If you want to be rich, there's no better shortcut than what I'm offering. The choice is yours, the interviewer, Kaysen, said, looking her up and down with a smile. Your choice can go kick rocks. What do you think I am? A commodity for sale? How would you like it if someone said this to your sister or daughter? How dare you? Why? Are you frustrated? There's that jealousy. Next time you try to buy a decent girl, remember this. You're not worthy for me to even compare myself to the girls in my family, she snapped. He stood up, raising his hand. But Holly caught it firmly. Don't even think about raising your hand on me. I have the strength to rip it right off. Just then, the door opened, and a man walked in. He stopped dead, seeing the scene. Kaysen snatched his hand back. Holly glared at him and started for the door, stopping when she saw the man in the doorway, frozen like a statue. What is going on here? The man frowned, stepping closer. Jace, this girl came for an interview. Instead of answering, she started insulting me, cursing the women of my family. Middle class. And you raised your hand on her? Julian Jace Shaw asked Kaysen in a cold tone. Yes, she. Get out of my office. Now. Let me explain the whole thing. You're not going anywhere without telling me everything. This so-called friend of yours told me to sleep with him instead of an interview. Holly burst out. Shut up. Jace roared suddenly, and even Holly fell silent. Jace raised his hand, but he was astonished, looking at his close friend, Kaysen. Jace, are you cursing me for this two-penny girl? Kaysen, don't. I will send you straight to jail. Jace closed the distance between them, his eyes hard. Kaysen took a deep breath, looked at Holly, and walked out. Please, sit down, Jace said softly. Holly was still furious with his earlier anger. Miss, please sit, he said again. She sat on a chair. He offered her a glass of water, but she just took 2 deep breaths and refused. Your friend is extremely cheap. And I'm sorry that your circle is so worthless. I found out today, myself. May I see your file? He pointed to the file in his hand. No. I don't want to work here. She decided in a flash. Why? I'm here. Don't worry. Nothing like this will ever happen again. That's my guarantee. Jace just wanted to know this girl's name, who had already entered his heart. Is this your office? She raised an eyebrow. Yes, thankfully. He smiled. Are you the owner here, or a partnership? Mine alone, Mississippi. He was just a friend, working on a project. And consider him gone. Jace reassured her. All right, fine. You seem like a decent man. Here's my file. She handed it to him, and he immediately took it. He seemed completely different from the night before. Right now, he was very serious and sober, not the playful person from last night. Maybe it was the effect of her outside personality. Don't worry, Holly Andrews. You will always find me to be a good man, he said softly. You can join from tomorrow. Any problem with being my personal assistant? The salary package will be good, right? She fired back the next question. Jace's lips formed a smile. Inshallah. I mean, hopefully. He called for Mr. Blake on the intercom. I can even join today. No issue, she said suddenly. No, come from tomorrow. You need rest today. He took her full name, which felt strange to Holly. She knew very well why he was acting this way. Thank you. She stood up. Mr. Blake came in, and Jace gave him firm instructions regarding Holly. He wasn't going to let this girl get away from him under any circumstances. She said goodbye and left the office. Jace's soft smile faded, and he got on the phone with someone. What Kaysen did today, he was not going to let slide. I'm glad you two have accepted each other, Paul Sterling said, coming to Alex and putting a hand on his shoulder. The reception had been held on a grand scale. Every businessman and wealthy person was present. I had to accept it, Dad. Your threat, for his mother's sake, Alex could do anything. A man who, even after 30 years, hadn't truly become his. Alex said this seriously, wiping the smile off his father's face. Excuse me. He left his father and went to his mother, who was talking softly with friends and relatives. Her name was Helen Sterling, and that's why he was so devoted to the name Holly, a variation of Helen's meaning. Mom, he called. She turned, her smile deepening. She blessed him with her eyes and kissed his forehead. In return, he kissed her forehead and hugged her. She didn't know the compulsion behind this wedding, and Alex didn't want her to know, nor did he want his parents to separate. On the stage, there was no room to breathe. Summer's friends were all present, and her circle was very wide. There were boys too, which made Alex frown, but he stayed quiet. His new bride's tantrums were such that she wasn't talking to anyone except 2 girls. Alex's only principal, out of 100 friends, maybe one is good, who helps in a crisis. He started to move away when a girl grabbed his arm and dragged him to the stage. She was Summer's close friend. She wanted them to sit together for photos. Alex sat with Summer, and the camera shutters clicked rapidly. All your friends are very flashy. Not one is decent, he whispered to her. Yeah, Holly isn't among them, so they all look useless to you, she smiled with her teeth, giving him a sharp answer. No one can be like her, Alex said, not meaning to provoke, but sitting back casually. What are you doing? Moving back? You're practically sitting on my dress, she gritted out. Is that a dress? I am sitting on you, aren't I? He looked at her, meaningfully. Their eyes clashed deeply, and everyone captured the moment on their phones. One of Summer's friends pushed her towards Alex, and she ended up against his chest. He automatically put his arm around her. Lost in each other's eyes, they were so close that they forgot everything else. Alex came to his senses, let her go, and stepped back. Summer was still feeling the touch of his hands on her waist. Her cheeks, red as embers, added to her beauty. They're giving a very good salary, right? Thank God. Your father's pension barely covered things, Sharon said as they ate. On Judgment Day, those rich relatives will be questioned. Despite being rich, they never considered their own close relatives worthy, always looking down on them. Mom, don't cry whenever someone says anything. Okay, forget it. Tell me, how should I dress tomorrow? I'll wear that new suit. It's my first day of work after all. She spoke cheerfully, trying to pull her mother out of her sadness. Summer was struggling with her maxi dress. A pocket was stuck. Alex gritted his teeth, watching her. That silly work can be done in the dressing room too, he said, taking off his coat seriously. Oh, so why are you taking your coat off here? Keep the same principle for yourself, she said, already irritated. By taking off my coat, am I becoming naked? He pulled her up from the bed and brought her to the mirror. Look at your own state. You're a complete mess, If anyone else was in my place. Why would anyone else be in your place, Alexander Sterling? She turned on him like a lioness, grabbing his collar. Alex was stunned by her sudden transformation. Her zipper was slightly down, and her dress was slipping off her shoulder. Near her collarbone, a small beauty mark peeked out, teasing him. He missed a heartbeat and immediately looked away. Next time, think before you speak, Alexander. Or you'll find no one worse than me. Summer's eyes welled up. She stepped back, fixed her dress, and disappeared into the dressing room, slamming the door. Phew. Very dangerous girl. She wants to defeat me with her full arsenal. But before he could finish the thought, she came out in a short nightgown. Her radiant beauty was dazzling. He tried to ignore her, but couldn't. For the first time, he was seeing a girl like this, who was his wife, but it was a forced marriage. He couldn't seem to accept that he had to bring her into his life to save his mother's home. I loved Holly. Then why is my heart racing for this girl? He questioned himself. No, Alex, this is just a passing attraction. She dresses like this on purpose to attract me. He gritted his teeth, loosening his tie. She was now lying carelessly on the bed, smiling at her phone. Her casual attitude inflamed him. Who was she messaging? He freshened up, lay down beside her, and glanced at her phone. She was looking at pictures from their wedding reception, mostly of the two of them. Was she smiling looking at those pictures? After a while, she put the phone aside. If you don't have a problem, turn off the light, Alexander, she said, turning the other way in a sleepy tone. He silently turned off the light. But he had no intention of sleeping. He wanted to check her phone after she fell asleep. A seed of doubt had been planted in his mind. He had liked Holly before the wedding, so maybe Summer liked someone else. The thought made him terribly restless, and he sat up. No matter how open-minded, or how forced the marriage, a man always wants his wife to be his alone. A while later, he had her phone. There was no password. He hesitated, it was an immoral act, but he was compelled. He opened her chats. The top message read, "Don't worry, Summer. Trust in God. Everything will be okay." It was the last message, which Summer probably hadn't seen. Reading the previous messages, Alex's heart pounded, and cold sweat broke out on his forehead. He quickly put the phone back. He had doubted her, but she had been hiding him in her heart. Hina, pray that he falls in love with me. He will. He's your husband. If he doesn't love you, who will? God willing, he will start loving me. He couldn't forget her messages. He turned to look at her, now facing him, lost in an oblivious sleep. Tonight, he was memorizing her face. God had turned his heart towards his wife. Slowly, he put his arm around her waist and pulled her close. In her sleep, Summer hugged him tightly. Love you, Alexander, she murmured in her sleep, professing her love, even though awake she just seemed to be all about her cards. He pulled her even closer, hiding his face in her neck, and took a deep breath. He inhaled her unique fragrance. Countless feelings for his life partner awakened inside him. The feeling that she loved him deeply changed Alex's heart. Their marriage had gained a new meaning. He put his lips to her neck, and she shuddered, waking up. She tried to pull back, but she was trapped in his firm grip. What are you doing, Alexander? Let me go, she struggled, but only came closer. The little bite you made here yesterday. I'm thinking of making it real, he said in an intoxicated tone, and silenced her lips. Stay in your limits, Alexander. I am Summer Sinclair, not. I know, he cut her off. You are my wife. And this only feels good with a wife. I won't allow you, her voice weakened. I don't need your permission anymore. Her eyes, filled with tears, put his heart in his hands. He leaned down and placed his lips on her forehead. She closed her eyes. She needed his touch. Her wounded soul could attest to that. He leaned down, hovering over her. Your eyes are telling me a different story. You crave my love, he whispered against her cheek, moving his thumb across it. She tried to push him away, but all her resistance grew weaker. Her eyes filled with tears as she looked at him with longing. She reached the office on time. She was given a special cabin, directly facing Julian Shaw's office. Meaning Jace could see her 24/7. In other words, watch her. But he was extremely serious about her. He had already taken her picture and sent it to his aunt, who was his everything. She was pressuring him to find a girl and get married. After sending the picture, he awaited her response. She viewed it quickly and immediately called. Shaw, who is this lovely girl? She asked excitedly. Do you like her? He smiled. Like her? She's adorable. And the headscarf, oh my. Mashallah. I mean, she's wonderful. When are you introducing me to my niece-in-law? Very soon. Just get ready for the wedding preparations. He was saying this joyfully when his peon came in. Sir, that. Ma'am. Holly. What happened? He cut the call and ran out. Outside, Holly had slapped a man. Miss Holly, he called her softly. She turned at his voice, and Julian walked towards her, rubbing his forehead. What happened? This man pulled my scarf. Holly's voice was sharp, her eyes wet. Julian looked at the man. He had been in the office for 3 years, and Jace knew him personally. He was a decent man. Right now, he stood with his head bowed after being slapped. Are you absolutely sure? Jace asked. Holly wanted to slap Julian next. You can't question me like that. I'm not crazy to just slap anyone. Mr. Shane, you can go, Julian said. He sent Shane away and dismissed the crowd with a stern glance. Miss Holly Andrews, come with me, he said and walked ahead. She stood still. What happened? He turned. You just let him go like that? Her eyes were full of accusation. Come with me, then we'll talk. He walked ahead, and she followed. He gestured for her to sit and pushed a glass of water towards her. She turned her face away, sitting stiffly. Oh, man, he thought, she's not even my wife yet and already so stubborn. When she is my wife, I'm done for. He hid his smile. A while later, his phone beeped. Julian had requested the CCTV footage of the incident from the control room. There were cameras in every main area, and spy cameras in some spots that no one knew about. The spy camera footage was sent to him. It clearly showed Holly's scarf getting caught on Shane's desk, and she turned and slapped him. He showed her the video. Holly's breath caught. Oh no. I made a mistake. She stood up. I need to apologize to him. In front of everyone. Relax. I'll talk to Shane. What will you talk about? The mistake is mine. I raised my hand, so I should apologize. Miss Andrews, relax. You realized your mistake. That's enough. No, sir, it's not enough. This is wrong. She was adamant. Before Julian could stop her, Shane knocked and entered. Yes, Shane? Miss Andrews wants to say something to me? Shane asked gently. Julian said, Miss Andrews, you wanted to speak to him. Mr. Shane, I made a mistake. Please, I am so sorry. No, ma'am, don't say sorry. I know you were mistaken. It's okay, Shane said, bowing his head politely. Okay, Mr. Shane, you can go, Julian said. Shane nodded and left. I should have apologized in front of everyone, Holly insisted. Miss Andrews, I wouldn't have let you apologize even in this closed room. In front of everyone? Impossible, Julian said. Why? She looked at him, surprised. He stepped closer, until he was 2 feet away. Because, the future Mrs. Julian Shaw apologizing to anyone is something I will never allow. He emphasized each word. Holly was stunned into silence. Just listen to him once, Holly, Sharon said to her daughter. Mom, he's crazy. Who proposes to someone like that? Holly had rejected Julian's proposal and quit her job. But he had shown up at her house with his aunt. Darling, if he wants to accept you properly, what's the harm? He's sincere with you. If he wasn't, he'd be like, Sharon started. Please, Mom, don't take his name, Holly cut her off, full of hatred. She turned and saw Julian standing on the doorstep, his words dying on her tongue. Auntie, can I have 5 minutes alone with her? Julian asked. Sharon looked at her daughter and left the room. I don't know if there was anyone before me in your life, and I don't care. But after we're married, I want you to only see me, only want me. I liked you. And there's nothing forbidden in our faith about choosing your own partner. I've taken the right path. I don't understand why you're rejecting me, Miss Holly. I don't get along with rich people. She turned away. Just because one experience was bad doesn't mean the next one will be. You can at least give me a chance, he said, standing in front of her, his eyes lit with love. If you betray me, I'll take your life, she said, starting to melt. He smiled deeply. If I have to take your life, why would I marry you? She said this teasingly, and Julian took a deep breath, looking at her with such love that she finally gave in. What is it? Why are you staring at me like that? Summer was applying lipstick, feeling Alex's gaze on her. I'm looking at these lips, you're working so hard to decorate them. In a little while, I'm going to ruin all your hard work. Be careful, Alexander Sterling. If you take one step towards me with that intention, I'll ruin you in return, she warned. They had to go to dinner, but Alex changed his mind and started unbuttoning his shirt. Seeing his dangerous expression, she ran towards the poolside glass door. Alex ran after her. Stop right there, Alexander. Or else. She stood by the pool's edge, warning him with her finger. He stood in just his black vest, watching her with playful mischief. Don't come closer, she kept warning. The next moment, he pulled her towards him, and they jumped into the pool together. Drenched, they stared at each other. Reading the meaning in his eyes, she tried to retreat. As she tried to leave the pool, he pulled her back against him. I didn't give you permission to leave, he breathed, his lips brushing her ear. We're going to dinner, Alexander Sterling, she gritted her teeth. Tonight's dinner is my choice. Tomorrow, yours, he said, pulling her closer, winking, and then silencing all her protests with a kiss. Julian's companionship had taken Summer to the heavens. Holly and Alex both moved on in their lives. Liking someone is one thing, but when you build a legitimate and sacred relationship with someone, no one can compare. Perhaps they will cross paths again someday, but both Holly and Alex were happy in their lives. Being an ideal is one thing, having a real relationship is another. Sometimes a person makes their own decisions, but the real decision is made by the Lord above, because He knows best.